prison for your hunger. Let me tell you why you're here. You know something. What you know, you cannot explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. There is something wrong with the world. You do not know what, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you want to know what it is?
Morpheus posed this question to Neo, from the trilogy, The Matrix. Morpheus went on to describe.
It is a false reality constructed by artificial intelligence to imprison the human mind in order to turn you into this.
Referring to a battery. The Matrix needed the bioenergy. Mr. Anderson, also called Neo, in this blockbuster movie, aided by the Oracle to seek self-knowledge, he freed himself from the constructed reality made by artificial intelligence. At the beginning, Mr. Anderson, Neo, was given a choice, to take the blue pill or the red. The blue pill allowed humans to return to a false reality. In the movie, the red pill revealed knowledge with the ability to free themselves from the prison for their minds. Likewise, take the red pill that represent knowledge of our past and present. From such, one can harness the power of mindfulness and free us from the prison for our hunger. As Morpheus said, I only offer the truth. Knowledge of self is bound to our past, especially for us to successfully prepare for a challenging and uncertain future. Humanity must understand and acknowledge the past in order to embrace the present. And it is this knowledge that is necessary to free ourselves. So, let's begin by looking at how the past led to the development of the false reality of the industrial food matrix, a prison for our hunger. Nutrient scarcity has been a natural occurrence on Earth that shaped genetics and patterns of human behavior over time. Overnutrition, lack of hunger management, and increasing food availability are the stresses affecting the bodies of many individuals, and genetic changes may occur after many generations to come if we continue along this path. We are what we eat, according to Sir David Attenborough, a world-renowned naturalist. We are also shaped by how often we eat. The nucleus of weight control failures often arises by underestimating hunger's power. Human hunger is best understood as a biological program, not just a mental one, a dynamic state with physiologic implications. When our physiologic hunger pangs begin, ancient DNA programming is activated, and we are motivated to hunting-like activity. Countless numbers of human beings will continue suffering for eons before a genetic anomaly appears that frees us from the food matrix. Meanwhile, marketing of addictive foods is directed at our willpower to keep us plugged into the construct of overconsumption. In the real world, outside any influence by the food matrix, our ancestors followed these drives without question. As in the movie, outside the matrix was a harsh environment filled with daily challenges of survival. Inside the less challenged but fabricated reality of the matrix, Neo had to wake up that he was being used like a copper-top battery to supply energy with no control over his fate. Likewise, our hunger drives deliver the food matrix with billions of dollars, and if you want to have some control over your fate, you will need to wake up to the harsh realities of the real world. If we start to resist hunger, it will have effects on the food industrial matrix, reducing its influence over our lives, forcing it to make changes. Neo's battle for self-control against Agent Smith is analogous to resisting our hunger drive, a formidable force. Enduring the hunger state long enough unlocks healthy metabolic pathways. Neo succeeded after reaching self-knowledge of an innate power of control. Temet nos, a Latin phrase placed on a plaque above the kitchen door of the oracle that translates to, thine own self thou must know, directs Neo to a path of self-discovery. Endurance of hunger that arises from calorie restriction is a necessary experience to avoid the traps of overnutrition. To quote the philosopher Tariq Ramadan, fasting calls upon us to know ourselves, to master ourselves, and to discipline ourselves the better to free ourselves. To fast is to identify our dependencies, and free ourselves from them. Healthy adaptation to modern times may very well rely on discovering our individual strengths and weakness, knowing oneself, and understanding what constructs are attempting to control and capture our primal hunger. For monetary reasons. Like Neo, who had to face Agent Smith once freed from the Matrix. So too, we must confront hunger face-on, the equivalent of Agent Smith, a constant battle within one's own psyche. In this blockbuster movie, it was a brutal battle between Neo and Agent Smith. Two internal forces inside the Matrix, seeking to control the other like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Similarly, there is a struggle between two driving forces within us, one acting with cunning and brute ferocity, the other with reason and logic. Yet, neither can ever survive without the other. So, what are these mutually opposing forces? I am speaking of our hunger drive and our willpower. Such resolve to endure hunger is called mindfulness, a sustained fortitude rooted in an awareness of your control of the present moment. Amusingly, the neocortex, a highly developed region of the brain, is the seat of our inhibitory control, of more commonly referred to as self-control. Such awareness is our greatest asset to guard against the industrial food matrix programs that are searching to capture our hunger drives. Gordon Decker, a psychiatrist extraordinaire, well known for his lectures on human behavior, states, "A man can never be free until he understands his past." In this respect, our ancestral history paves a road to self-knowledge, focusing on highly adaptive activities to survive. Surviving food scarcity required behaviors that were successful for thousands of years. For millenniums, the human hunger drive compelled us to adapt in the real world, a world of the wild. The life of our ancestors, discovered by anthropological findings, showed how they managed generation after generation, adapting even down to the microbiological level. They lived under harsh conditions or in isolated regions of the world with far less daily caloric intake. The lands provided them with varieties of wild nutrient types. Their activity was often strenuous, through the days or weeks, hunting and foraging. According to Jared Diamond, an American author, known for his popular science books, describes humanity's early lifestyles as vicious, ruthless, and dangerous. No food was grown or stored. There is no respite from the struggle to find food. The hunter's lifestyle requires fitness for living in the real world. For thousands of years, Native Americans settled in villages from where they set out daily to hunt, fish, gather berries, nuts, wild plants, and roots from the surrounding forests, rivers, and lakes. They tracked wild animals over long distances, as did their hunter-gatherer ancestors. In the modern era, health experts strongly agree that such a basic level of strenuous exercise in a similar fashion is necessary for optimum fitness. It is essential to understand that we still have the physical ability to endure the challenges of winter, migrations, and droughts, which is the real world. Since the years of agriculture, the only factor that has significantly changed is our lifestyles. Since our predecessors first began to put down the spears and arrows in the years, our bodies have stayed the same. Today, our biology can endure extended periods of food scarcity followed by brief periods of food abundance. Your human body is more adapted to significant amounts of time without food than you may realize. Now, food is more easily accessible, tending to remain affixed to its locations in supermarkets, restaurants, and the like. Today, for most people, there is little motivation to engage in such strenuous pursuits. Many are plugged in, like in the movie The Matrix, where our physical abilities lay dormant. A similar construct of the modern food matrix characterized by sedentary life. Yet, the energy expenditure we once used for hunting is still vital for supporting good health. The agricultural goal to supply the world's nutritional needs offers us excellent hopes for the future. But the current trend in weight problems is causally related to the primal drives of hunger in an environment of ever-growing food availability and marketing. Unmanaged hunger urges lie beneath the failure of health and weight management strategies and programs. The idea of an effective model could inspire creativity and mindfulness that aims to prevent overnutrition, and its many problems that reduce the chances of a long, healthy life. For some people, it may require collaboration with others who practice such a weight control model. The emerging model recommends regular fasting and equivalent physical exercise level. Researchers now realize the importance of continuing with our ancestors' level of calorie intake and calorie-consuming activity. Popular documentaries have noted in such groups, there was no obesity, and modern diseases are non-existent. To most people, this makes sense. Their success is how we got here. We are their offspring and survive to this day. Many people are beginning to agree that we can learn from our ancestors' eating and working activities. Acting on the knowledge of our past hunting and eating behaviors can set us free from mindlessly overeating. By tolerating more extended periods without food, we guard against the powerful urges to gorge. Like Morpheus in the movie, The Matrix.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
We have innate powers to domesticate this ancient beast, human hunger, and turn it into your well-trained pet.
For more information, visit www.hunger-management.com. On Facebook, join the group Hunger Management Society for further discussions and updates.